Oh, there we go. We're on. It says I've been on for 7 seconds. I was probably deep breathing and making lots of loud noises there for a while. I sometimes say that to Justine. I'm like, I'm the one that makes loud noises. And then I go and make loud noises. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome to spring. The spring has sprung. How about that? Say hi when you jump on. Love to know who's here. Can you feel the change in the air? There's something. It's like you can. I don't know. Can you feel it? I can feel it. It's like, ooh, stuff's different. Stuff's different. How is it different? I don't really know, but something's different. Something's different. Guys, what I wanted to do in this video today is share with you. There is so much happening at Inspirational Book Writers. So much. So much that I just wanted to get on and share, because it's very, very exciting stuff. And I feel like sometimes when I get on these lives and I share that, hey, Davina, that, you know, I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're doing is really, really good news. And in a world where often at the minute there's not heaps of great news, I feel like it's awesome that we can share some real positivity, and that a lot of our book writers, the books that are coming through, are the voice of leadership, are the voice of love, are the voice of insight and truth and wisdom and reason, and of authenticity and genuineness, or bona fideness. Gosh, I love that. Hey, Stacey, I'm about to talk about your book. Gosh, I love that word, bona fide. You know, there's just some words that are just superb. I love the word bona fide. I also love the word falafel. I just think, what a word. That's a great word. Falafel, bona fide. I also love pronouncing the name of the country, Djibouti. It's in Africa. It's like, where do you come from? I'm from Djibouti. Well, I mean, I'm not from Djibouti, but some words just are very humorous. So yeah, thanks for being here. There's a few of you on. So what I'd love to do is just share some updates of some amazing things that are happening, and just actually show you a handful of books. I've got a few here. So the first one I want to talk about. So I wanted to share some publishing updates, some launch updates, and then also discuss the 6 decisions of book writing, because I think sometimes people think that book writing is this big thing. And really, and it gets overwhelming, but really the way that we do it, it brings it right down to just be like, all right, here's one thing in front of the next. So let's talk about this one here. Recently released by Ben Huggins and Christy Huggins. Primary author, Ben Huggins, his co-author, Christy Huggins. Healing Life with Cancer. So what an amazing story this is. Okay, so the story behind this book is Ben Huggins, just a guy going about his life, gets cancer, gets told he's got a couple of days to live, and his wife Christy goes, you need to share your story, you need to write your book. So I get this call from Christy saying, hey, he's got the book, can we just get this out ASAP, because the doctors have said he doesn't have much time left. Anyway, we put it through the process, out it comes. The book is all about Ben's journey. He decided not to go down the traditional medical route. He followed his own instinct. He followed his own intuition, which was directing him towards natural healing. And he's been deep in the natural healing space, getting really, really involved in his own personal healing and learning a stack along the way. Anyway, everything that he's learned, he's put in this book. And it's got a bit of size to it, you know, like it's 200 odd printed pages. And so this is, you know, this book contains the relatable wisdom of a man who has literally experienced cancer. And I think this is one of the things that I want to talk about in the 6 decisions of book writing, is about being the relatable hero. And what I mean by that is, there's so many people, the gurus, the gurus of the industry, but can can we relate to them? Even this morning, I just watched this thing, this post on Facebook about some people that attended Tony Robbins' UPW, the virtual event that was run in Australia just the last few days. And look, I have to say, hand on my heart, I love Tony Robbins. Like, he has been I've basically done every part of his work. But what the people were saying on this call was that some of his material was a bit outdated. There was lots of pitch fests, and they didn't feel as connected to the thing. Now, that could just be their experience, but I think, there's something to be said for the person that's on the ground doing the thing from your community that's like, oh, I knew that person. They grew up. They were in the same thing as me. And then they've come out the other side with the wisdom from their journey. And so I personally believe that that's the sort of books that people are finding really interesting right now. Ben Huggins has done exactly that. And what do you know? What happened? I was fortunate to meet Ben and Christy the other week down at Noosa here by the river. And the very next day, they ended up on Channel 7 on the Sunshine Coast. That's one of the mainstream media outlets. They had a full segment done on them, and they ended up with, I think at last count, it was last week, it's probably higher now, within 7 days of that piece, that clip going to air, they had 80,000 views on their book, right? So on their clip of their story, right? So that exposure came from writing the book. And one of the things that I'm super excited about, Bridget just says, will you be doing another intensive this year? Bridget, the last intensive for this year is 5 to 11 October. It's coming up. They're a big deal and a big operation, so we don't do heaps of them every year. But certainly 5 to 11 October, coming up, a couple of weeks. I hope you can make it. But yeah, the exposure from that was just superb for raising awareness of, hey, you know, the medical route is fantastic and it's great for some people, but it's not the only route. And so what Ben's done with this book is give people another option. Very brave to listen to your own instinct when a certain system is telling you to be another way. But that's what Ben's done. And probably the most satisfying thing for me personally out of this whole project with Ben Huggins and Christy, his wife, is hearing from them that doing this book has given Ben a new lease on life. It's given him something to work towards. And even when I'm seeing him on social media, I'm like, that guy has got like so much more life in his eyes. And they're renting out their house. They've hired a caravan. They are going on tour around Australia, around New South Wales first, to spread their message, and it's all off the back of this. And they had no idea they'd be on Channel 7. They had no idea that they'd be renting out their house and hiring a motorhome and then going on book tour. Like, they had no idea. That's what just came. And so part of the lesson of their story, I feel, is that, if you're sitting there going, yeah, I've got a book, but I don't have all my dots in place, or don't have all the ducks in order, or you might see people who are very established in business, and they know exactly what they're doing with their book. It's going into this funnel, it's leading into this program, and they've got it all mapped out 3 months in advance. If you're in that situation, don't let the lack of that stop you, because there's so many times you can't predict what's going to come from a book, because it is this ending of one chapter and the starting of a new chapter, right? And like the Huggins didn't know what was happening, didn't know that they'd be going on tour, but now they are. And the other awesome thing that's come from this one is we're now publishing underway with Christy's book. So Christy is in the publishing process now and sharing her book of the journey of her life and sharing her wisdom. So that is absolutely superb. Stacey, thank you so much. Stacey says, that's awesome. Yeah, it's a truly, truly heartwarming story. Just absolutely superb. And I really love what our cover team have done with the cover here. You know, Healing Life with Cancer, a big sunshine, big ray of light coming out to the world as like, you know, if you were healing with cancer, this is the sort of book that you would take a look at because it's, you know, boom. And incidentally, this went to #1 on Amazon within 24 hours of being launched. It basically went on Amazon and boom, there it was. So, yeah, I'm super, super, super excited for Ben Huggins and really excited for his partner Christie's book coming up too. Let's talk some other books. So that was Ben Huggins. I actually don't have a copy of the next book in front of me because we did. Actually, the next book that I want to talk about is Sigourney Weldon, Sigourney Bell, you might know her as. Her second book called Rapture is launching tomorrow on the 22nd of September. Super, super excited about this. Sigourney just got the drop, and there it's coming. So 22nd of September, Sigourney's second book. But for a moment, I just want to talk about Sigourney's first book, Leviathan, right? So this is Sigourney's first book. It was an absolute hit when it launched on the 5th of April, 2020. It went bestseller in 6 countries, in Australia, the UK, the USA, Canada, the Netherlands, and some other country in Europe. I remember telling Sigourney, "Oh, you've gone #1 in the Netherlands." She's like, "I don't even know anyone in the Netherlands." So this book was an absolute hit when it launched, and I just want to comment on why I think this was an absolute hit, because what I think in contrast, there's a lot of books out there these days that I would say don't have a whole stack of life in them. Okay, they're not necessarily on the pulse of life. They're not necessarily containing those like feminine creation codes, and I guess they come from a more masculine-only kind of perspective. Now, as a contrast, so Sigourney's, I think, really encapsulates that feminine creation, that life. You know, there's whatever that is, a bee, a butterfly on the front cover, like there's life there. And I want to contrast this with a book that I was actually bringing up in a group. It's not one that we published, but it's a very, very famous book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. So you probably know this one. It's very famous for its structure and strategy around business. And for those purposes, it is excellent, right? So if you want to know the masculine structure and strategy behind growing an organization, then that's a really good one to look at. And there's a lot of really good stuff in there. But the reality is that book is it's quite old. Let me see. First printed 1995. So we're talking 25 years, right? Now, this one is often on the bestseller list because it's a very popular book. But in my opinion, what this book is missing, what the E-Myth is missing, is to me it's a little robotic. It doesn't necessarily capture the flow and the responsiveness required in business. And what I'm finding is a lot of our book writers, their books are capturing the flow. They are on the pulse of life. And so that's what I see in Sigourney's book. She's shared a lot of stuff around, like, it's called Leviathan, Awakening the Feminine Codes to Creation Through the Body. And she talks about how that applies in business, in healing, in all sorts of contexts. And so the point that I want to make is I feel like the books, and this is probably more just a comment on the types of books that we're bringing through at the moment, is that the books that inspirational book writers are writing are full of life, are full of vibrancy, are full of heart, are well structured. Like, you can look at the table of contents of this. Like, this is, you know, it's not like this is not a structured book. But there is that marriage of the masculine and the feminine. I find what we're producing is very integrated books right now. So yeah, Stacey says 2 books this year. Amazing, congratulations to Sigourney. Yeah, absolutely. Sigourney Bell Weldon. This is Leviathan. This is her first book. Her second book, Rapture, is coming out tomorrow, and super, super excited to bring that to you. Cool. How good is this? I'm very, very excited. So now I'm going to preview a couple of things that a couple of books that are coming up. Okay, a couple of books that are coming up, because there's some absolute rippers coming up. And then what I'll do after I've previewed those, we'll go into the 6 decisions of book writing, which are, I think, very important decisions to make. So a couple of books coming up. Again, I don't have copies of these in front of me because they're coming soon, but I'll show, where I can, I'll show you. We've actually got a number of book writers doing their second book, so I'll show you their first book. So just announced this morning, super, super exciting, Stacey Ashley, First Lead Yourself. Her new book, her second book, is launching this November. Very, very excited. She wrote that with us in January at the Book Writing Intensive. Super, super excited for her, and very honored as well. Stacey actually asked me to write the foreword for that book. And yeah, really honored to do so, because leadership is a topic very much at my heart. And so what I wanted to do is show you her first book. So this is Stacey. Everybody meet Stacey. Stacey's based in Sydney, Australia, an outstanding leadership coach, has studied the field significantly. This was her first book, The New Leader, From Team Member to People Leader, A Practical Guide, and her new book, First Lead Yourself, is coming out in November. So keep an eye out for Stacey. That's coming up in November. Super, super excited about that. Now, the next one I want to preview is someone that's already written a book, but this is going to be their second book, and I might get in trouble for previewing this. But sometimes you just got to push people out onto stage, don't you? Lovingly, of course, with a stick and a boot sometimes. So some of you will know, many of you will know Davina Davidson, who is super second in charge at Inspirational Book Writers. She's a book coach. She's an intuitive. She is, we call her the Oracle because she knows all. And her first book, Resilient as Fuck, The Subtle Art of Bending Not Breaking, is right here. Just a wee little one, just a short little read, absolutely superb read, all about resilience. If anyone has ever lived the life journey that would teach you resilience and how to be resilient, it is absolutely Davina. Very timely for this year. I know Davina's done a lot of interviews in various groups this year on the topic of resilience because it's so timely in 2020. But the good news is, the exciting news is that very, very soon, in October, we're hoping, Davina will be releasing her second book called What the Hell? A Return to Love. And it's a book for those moments in life where your world is turned upside down and you find yourself going, like, literally, what the hell? And then how to flip that and transform that back to love. So there is no one better qualified to write on that topic than Davina Davidson, the Oracle. And this was her first book, Resilient as Fuck. What the Hell, coming in October. We're trying to line that up with Mental Health Week, because mental health is a big, it's a big part of Davina's life work. A big part of her purpose on earth is to contribute to the mental health space. And so, hey, Justin. Justin's just said, woohoo, go Davina. Absolutely, go Davina. So we are absolutely cheering you on, Davina. So that's very exciting. That's Davina's first book. If you want it, I'll put comments. I'll put links to these in the somewhere so that you guys can get these books. If you want to find them, just go on Amazon. You'll find them all. Cool. So a couple of other shout outs. I've got, how many other shout outs? I've got 4 more shout outs that I really want to thank Stacey. Stacey says, awesome, Davina. I actually want to shout out Justin, who's just on the call now. Justin Lodge, his new book, Angry as Fuck, but No Idea Why. How about that for a title? Let that sink in. That is currently in production. That will be ready very, very soon. He's doing the audiobook version of it. Really a book for men, I would say, but also for people of all walks of life. But my particular perception is that it's especially valuable to men who are so angry, but they don't know why they're feeling that. And so in this year of 2020, where there's been so much shift and change, I am absolutely 100% convinced that there are so many men out there that have been feeling unsettled, angry, getting in touch with their emotions, perhaps for the first time or the first time in a long time, and really have no idea how to manage that. And so to have someone like Justin come in and write a book that not only shares his personal experience of navigating that journey himself, but also, he's a spiral practitioner and a qualified expert in this space. For him to combine that expertise with the lived experience, that's where you're getting something really just superb. So that one's coming in November. I'm very excited for it. The audiobook will follow just afterwards, so keep an eye out for that. Angry as Fuck, but No Idea Why, by Justin Lodge. You're welcome, Justin. The next one I want to shout out to is Stacey Munro. Stacey Munro, who's on the call, I believe. Stacey's book is in progress. We're very close to publishing, and I think, Stacey, our next conversation will be setting a launch date for you. Guys, Stacey's book is called A Journey Back to Self. Journey Back to Home. Journey Back to Self. And this is one of those personal like sharing of an inspirational personal story, but packed with life lessons. And this is one of those books that I find is very relatable. Stacey's gone through so much in her life, and to pull out those life lessons to share with people, I think is absolutely superb. And, Stacey has a salon, has a hair salon in the USA. I can never remember where you are in the US, Stacey. I just know that you're there somewhere. The salon's been in lockdown for months and months and months. I think they just got word that they can open after like 4 months or 6 months or something just absolutely bonkers crazy. But in any case, that book is coming out very, very soon. And I think Stacey's a real example of, like, her business was in lockdown, but she's chosen to do something really productive, really inspirational, really forward moving for her and her life and her business. And that's this book. So I know there are a lot of people still in lockdown in various places of the world. I know Victoria is still in lockdown. And it fucking sucks, and it's shit, and there's no other way to say it other than that. That's just how it is. But if you're in that position and you want to make the best of it, and you've been getting the nudge that a book is your thing and the thing to do right now, then get in contact, because we can make something really great from something not so great. The other one that I want to shout out, we're going straight to the sex categories. I love it. Straight to the sex categories. Patty Ann Wahoo. I don't think I've ever pronounced her surname, so I might be wrong on that. Wahoo. I just call her Patty Ann the Great. That's how I refer to Patty Ann. Patty Ann's a sex coach, a relationship coach, an intimacy coach, and her new book, Vanilla Sex is the New Black, is coming out very, very soon. I've seen the covers for it. I am blown away. I dig them. I think it's right on point. Vanilla Sex is the New Black. And I think her message there in that book is that, sometimes when you get into these spiritual communities or personal development, you see, and you get it, kind of start to dig into the sexuality side of things. You see people going off and having all these like absolutely bonkers crazy sexual experiences and adventures, and that's great. Like, all power to you. I fully support freedom in doing whatever you want. Oh, Stacey says she's in San Francisco and she was locked down for 6 months. Holy Batman. Glad to hear that is lifting for you, Stacey. Super glad. So this goes on in all these communities, and it's fantastic. And I'm, like I said, full supporter of free sexuality. But thanks to Vina for tagging Patty Ann. But what I see as the magic of Patty Ann's message is that she kind of is saying, like, if you've never really dipped your toe into sexuality workshops, or you just kind of have just kind of been a regular person, but never really gone into that field in terms of study or whatever, Patty Ann is the absolute perfect person to see as the first point of call, and her book is really that introductory point to kind of demystify sex, demystify all some societal stereotypes and things like this, and really demystify what can be a mysterious thing for some people. So very, very fucking excited for Patty Ann's book, Vanilla Sex is the New Black. Next one that I want to shout out, and this will be the final one that I shout out for today before I jump into the 6 decisions of book writing, is a book by Genevieve. And I don't know how she wants to be addressed in terms of a surname, but Genevieve with her new book, Fuck Yourself Open. This book is, from my perception, what I received from this is Genevieve is a real master at pleasure, at experiencing pleasure in the body. And when I was doing the read review of her book in the earlier stages, I was really struck by her command of pleasure, and of the pathways to pleasure, and of how to integrate that into a life where you're also, have kids, have a relationship, have business, have all these other things going on. And I think that's quite a remarkable thing, because the pace of the modern world is very fast, and sometimes when we go too fast, we shut off feeling and we don't feel as much pleasure. So if it's been a tough year for you and you're like, yeah, I could do with some I would really actually like to up my pleasure intake threshold, expand in my ability to receive and feel pleasure, then I highly recommend to you Genevieve's book, Fuck Yourself Open, coming very soon. Whew, cool, great downloads, great downloads. So I'll just take a bit of a break now before we get into the 6 decisions of book writing, and just get myself a little bit of a drink here. Hope you guys are all well. I bought a boat today. How cool is that? I bought a boat. I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. I'm very, very excited. I'll do a post about that. I bought a boat. And something else happened today too. Davina knows, but I can't tell everyone yet. But I will soon. But I can tell you I did buy a boat. Very, very happy about that. So just by way of intermission here, guys, if you're listening to this and you know that it's time, that often that's just as simple as it is. You just know that you have a book, you have a message, and it is time for it to come out. If that's you, then I really want to invite you. Stacey says, I think we can use a whole heap, all use a lot of pleasure. Absolutely. Guys, if you just know it's time to write your book, then go away. Who's calling me? Go away. Not now. Don't you hate that? You're like on live and then people just... if you would like to join us, if you know that you've got a book in you, we're running the Inspirational Book Writers online book writing intensive on the 5th to the 11th of October, coming up in a couple of weeks. We're starting the pre-work this week. We've got the pre-work next week. So now is a great time to get in. You haven't missed anything. Now would be an absolutely superb time to start. We take you from start to finish. We help you write the book, plan it out, get the chapters right, get the message right, all the way through. Well, that's what the intensive is about. The intensive is about helping you write the book. And then at the end of the intensive, once we've helped you to write it, we just what's the best way to show someone you can help them is to actually help them, We don't do any sort of high-powered sales crap. We just say, look, this is the opportunity. The opportunity is to come and join us and write your book in a week. We've got an amazing bunch of very dynamic people from all over the world sharing great messages. You want to be part of that, come join us. Come join us, because the pathway is right there. extending the hand of friendship. Come and join us. It's super affordable to get in. Yeah, Stacey says, I shared the event on the page. I know peeps who have books in them. Thank you so much, Stacey. Yeah, that's how we do our business, is by just absolutely rocking the pants off the people that we work with, so much so that they can't help but talk about it to others, and then people come and find us. That's literally how we do it. So book writing intensive coming up 5th to the 11th of October. I'll put the link. Let me see if I can put the link here. I can actually put the link. How about that? Amazing that I had that underway. I'll put that link in the comments. I'll also put it in the post here. But yeah, if you've got any questions about that, please let me know. Now, let's talk about the 6 decisions of book writing. The 6 decisions of book writing. Okay, number 1. What these decisions are is, like, just from my experience, if you make these decisions before you start, it'll be so much easier, right? It'll be so much easier. If you don't make these decisions, then you could be fighting an uphill battle, mostly with yourself. Okay, so let's have a look at these six decisions. Number 1, it's the decision to speak up. I know you're writing, and I know you're going inward in order to bring the message out, but you are speaking up. So sometimes speaking up is it brings stuff up for people. Now, if you're going to write a book, that's a decision that I really encourage you to make. Is just, whatever it is, I'm going to face it, and I'm going to sign up, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to speak up. Because without that decision to speak up, sometimes it can be a little bit like, a little this way, a little that way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when you decide, you cut off from other possibilities. So when you decide to write a book, you're cutting off from the possibility of doing something else or of not doing it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the decision to be the person that writes books. And this is a big one for some people, is the decision to be an author, the decision to be a writer. You know, I think a lot of people I meet, they have known that they've had a book in them for a long time, but until they claim the fact that they're an author, it doesn't happen. You know, it does not happen. And you know, you can see where if I maneuver my body, I'm trying to get. I just keep getting in the way. That bookshelf behind me, the top 2 shelves are of book writers who made that decision to write a book, and then, or maybe if I go this way, or maybe you can see it. I don't know. I'm not very good on my angles right now. Anyway, there's a 3rd shelf back there where it's blank. And I've kept that space open for the next wave of people coming through, for the next wave of book writers who make that decision. I am the person that writes books. If you just make that decision, so much easier. You know, look at Sigourney, case in point. Made the decision earlier this year, right, I'm an author. Boom, smashes out a book. 2nd book, 3rd book coming before the end of the year. Boom. Decision number 3, okay, decision number 3 is to be the relatable hero. And this ties back into what I was saying before. Sometimes these like experts of yesteryear, you know, not as relatable, but if you are that relatable hero, then people can know you, like you, trust you. They can, if you're from their community, they can engage with you more. They can connect you because it's like, oh, that person was from my town, etc. Decision number 4 is to be quirky as fuck. Okay, so you know, I'm a weirdo. I admit it. I'm super weird. I'm mega weird. Very, very weird. I make a lot of loud noises all the time. Just ask Justine. And if you just decide, right, I'm going to bring all my quirkiness, I think what that does is it drops any like tension or pressure around needing to be an expert, needing to present it in perfect English, and it allows you to just be you. And some of the best books are written from the heart, are written in very conversational language. So that's number 4. Number 5 is very similar. Say it in your voice. The decision to say it in your voice. One thing that I'm super proud of at Inspirational Book Writers is that we don't censor our book writers. We actively encourage you to share in your voice. And if that means that you're writing it as you speak, if you're writing it in a conversational tone, then go for it. You know, I actively encourage that. If your book is written in simple sentences, I actively encourage that. Say it in your voice. Say it in your voice. And I think that relieves any pressure to try and be someone else, right? Just be the best you can be. Put that in the book. That's what's going to have the best success. And then decision number 6 of book writing is the decision to be bold and courageous. And this is an important one because if you don't make this decision, then it's harder to navigate the micro decisions of book writing. So book writing has a lot of decision points. It has a lot of forks in the road. It has a lot of points where people could fall off the wagon if they were doing it themselves, right? You know, we've designed our process to hold your hand through each of the steps, but the decision to be bold and courageous is, if you just make that from the outset, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to be courageous, then it's going to work out really great for you, because you're not going to need, you know, the wishy-washiness won't be there. It's just like, yeah, I'm going to be courageous. That's just what I'm going to do. And so on that note, for those of you that are bold and courageous and that know that now is the time, I really, truly want to invite you to come and join us for the Inspirational Book Writers Book Writing Intensive. It's online. You can access it from anywhere in the world. You get 5 live Zoom calls with me and my team, with Davina. Nicole is our book coach in North America. So we're running check-ins 24 hours. So if you're somewhere in the world that's on a different time zone to Australia, if you're in the USA, if you're in Europe, if you're in New Zealand, if you're in Asia, if you're in Singapore, Thailand, Bali, any of these locations, if you're in London, if you're in Scotland, if you're in Ireland, any of these places, we run check-ins and there is support available 24/7. It's not always me. I'm not up 24/7 for a week. But our team is there, and so there's five Zoom check-ins every single 24-hour period. That's where you get to come and ask questions, get unstuck, get coaching, get inspired by other people in the group. There's 7 written check-ins in the Facebook group. Basically every 2 hours in a 24-hour period, there's check-ins. So there's lots of checking in, lots of accountability, lots of support. And the intention of the week is for great people with great messages to come together and get their book done in a week. Now, is it possible to get it done in a week? Absolutely, it is possible. All of these book writers in these shelves behind me that I don't know which way to, you know, those books, well, there. Oh, there we go. Those books all there, all done in a week. It is so possible to do, especially in the container and the support that we provide. So, the other piece of the program that's really important is the pre-work. We do the book map game plan session. We get clear on the book on 8 different levels. We get a very big picture view of the book, and then we get clear on the purpose, the vision, the message, and the structure. We lay it all out for you. Basically, there's a stack of support there, and it's really fun. It's very transformational. We are having an after party. Stacy's in San Francisco, and she goes, Nicole, our book coach in Vancouver, is great for the US times. Absolutely. Yep. So USA, very well covered. If you are in the US, we have you covered. Bridget says, when is your next one after October? Bridget, we do not have dates as yet. We're tentatively looking at March 2021, so quite a way away yet. But yeah, we take one event at a time. That's just how I approach things. So yeah, it's October. That's what we're looking at right now. There's stacks and stacks of support. There's a Facebook group. There's a membership site. There's all the trainings there laid out for you. We literally step you through step by step. You get the intuitive drops, the wisdom from myself, from Davina, the Oracle, from Nicole, and you also get the strategic impact the strategic view that I bring to the table, that our coaches bring to the table, of like, yes, say that story, bring that lesson through, or like looking at a piece of your writing, which we include snippet reviews. You get to, what that means is you get to submit work to us and we get to review it for you and give you feedback. That's all part of the package. I just really wanted to create a space where people could come, find help, find support, find friends who are on the same journey, because it is a hard thing to do by yourself. And so I want to make it easy for people. That's what the intensive is about, helping you to write your book in a week. Stacey says it was the best week ever. Thanks so much, Stacey. That was a great week we had in June, just passed. And it's a super supportive community, guys. So we're just getting started with the pre-work this week. So now is a great time to join us. Next week, we really start to ramp up. If you do have any questions, please let me know. But what I'm really here on this call, and just to round out this call, is if you've got something that you want to say, if you've got a story that needs to be told, if you've got something that is the voice of leadership, the voice of truth, the voice of love, the voice of wisdom, something that can inspire people, something that can uplift people, something that raises the consciousness, that empowers humanity, that's what we do. That's what we're about. And that covers all types of genres, fields, subject matter. That's leadership, that's finance. You know, we've had some finance books recently. Leadership, finance, health, healing, spiritual, relationship, personal growth, heaps of personal growth, personal stories, anything of that nature. That's what we're set up to do. And if you are a coach or a consultant, or you've got your own business, you're an entrepreneur, and you want to write your book for more credibility, authority, and impact, then that's what we basically built our business for you, to help you take your business and your whole stuff to the next level by having an inspirational best-selling book. Whew. All right, team, that's enough from me. I'm getting a bit of a sweat on here. It's approaching 3 p.m. If you want to find out more about the intensive, jump on the link. All the details are there. Justin has just said, doing the writing week changes your perspective on life itself. How's that for a comment? Thank you, Justin. So appreciate it. Yeah, it's a big deal. Like, you come out the other side as an author. It's like, you know, what I just would like, you could be the next, Ben Huggins, or you could get your life's experiences packaged into something like Davina said here with Resilient as Fuck. You could get an authority piece out to the market like Stacey with The New Leader. You could write a book that's a 6-country bestseller, like Sigourney Weldon here. Guys, these are the possibilities. This is what's on offer, and I'm really just saying, if you know it's time, like, let's fucking rock and roll. Let's do this. All right, that's all from me. Hope you have a great afternoon, team. See you soon.